Welcome back. We have explored why ESG creates significant value in Module 3. Now we pivot to practical. How does an organization actually begin this journey? What are the key steps to start integrating ESG effectively in your strategy, your operations, and value chain? Let's dive into how to. First, let's set expectations. ESG integration is an ongoing journey of continuous improvement and not a one-off task with a finish line. And crucially, like any major strategic shift, visible commitment and buy-in from the very top, the board and senior leadership is absolutely essential to provide direction, resources, and drive the cultural change that is needed. Summarizing, ESG integration is a journey of continuous improvement, and the fundamental requirement is visible leadership commitment. You can't effectively address every possible ESG issue simultaneously. Therefore, a critical early step is identifying what matters most, your material issues. This means pinpointing the ESG topics that are most significant for your specific business context. It typically involves assessing issues along two dimensions. First, what are the ESG topics with the greatest potential impact, whether they are positive or negative, on your organization's financial performance, risk profile, and strategic success? Second, what ESG topics are most important to your key stakeholders, your investors, customers, employees, regulators, and the communities you operate in? The issues landing high on both dimensions are generally your material topics. For example, for a European software company, data privacy and ethical AI development might be highly material given their business model and stakeholder concerns. Conversely, for an agricultural business in Asia or in Africa, water scarcity and supply chain labor conditions could be far more critical. So focusing on these material issues allows you to allocate resources effectively. Summarizing, identify what matters most. Use double materiality assessment, DMA. Assess based on 1. Significance of impact on your business, 2. Importance to your key stakeholder, with the goal to focus on where the impact is the greatest and allocate resources. Once you have identified your material issues, you need to understand your starting point. Establish a baseline by measuring your current performance on those key topics. How much waste do you generate? What is your current board diversity percentage? You simply need data. With that baseline, you can set clear, forward-looking goals. Aim for SMART goals, so be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Regularly tracking progress against these goals, use key performance indicators, KPIs, is essential for accountability and demonstrating the improvement. So summarizing, 1. Measure your starting point by establishing a baseline. 2. Set SMART goals. 3. Track progress. Use key performance indicators. Crucially effective ESG isn't just about reporting or isolated initiative. It's about embedding sustainability thinking into the core business strategy and core processes and make it part of the daily decision making. It should become part of the how you do business. For example, R&D incorporates circular design principles. Procurement evaluates suppliers not just on cost, quality, and delivery performance, but also on their environmental performance or labor practices. It means for HR that they integrate diversity and inclusion principles into recruitment and promotion. It requires making ESG considerations a natural part of processes across the organization, fostering a culture of awareness and responsibility. So summarizing, embed ESG into the core business DNA and core processes, in strategy, in planning, in R&D, in operations, in HR, in finance, and also in the procurement, with the goal to make it part of the culture and the routine decision making. As we have touched now upon an organization's most significant impact, these often lie outside its direct control, particularly within its supply chain. So When we talk about meaningful ESG integration, this requires actually an open, respectful, and honest dialogue where you engage suppliers and other value chain partners. It starts with respecting the differences in ESG maturity levels, but also the priorities that have been set. Aim engagement of your key stakeholders who are involved in setting clear expectations through supplier codes of conduct. Conduct risk assessments and audits, raise awareness, build capacity, collaborate on improvement projects, whether it's reducing shared emission or improve worker safety. And keep in mind to promote greater transparency throughout the whole value chain. It is a shift towards shared responsibility. So when we summarize this, it's about engage your value chain, suppliers and customers, set clear expectations through supplier codes, assess risks and performance, use assessments or audits, collaborate on improvements, think about beyond auditing, and promote transparency through shared responsibility. While embedding ESG is primary, transparently communicating your efforts and performance to your stakeholders, it is also vital for accountability and building trust. This is often done through a dedicated ESG or sustainability report. Various reporting frameworks and standards exist globally to provide structure and comparability. The GRI, the Global Reporting Initiative standards, have long been used, and now there is also the ISSB standard, which are setting a global baseline for investor-focused disclosure. The purpose of these frameworks is to guide companies on disclosing reliable information about their material issues, governance, strategy, risk, targets, and performance. Communicating progress, challenges, and data is becoming increasingly expected, and in some regions, like for example in Europe, with regulations such as the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, CSRD, comprehensive reporting is now mandatory for many companies, underscoring the global trend towards greater transparency. So summarizing, communicate your journey, use ESG reporting, share your purpose to increase transparency and show accountability to your stakeholders. Make use of guidance, frameworks and standards like GRI or ISSB. Be aware of the trend. There is an increasing stakeholder expectation and there's more desire for mandatory disclosure. If you integrate these steps, that takes effort. So now pause and think for a moment. When reflecting on your own organization or one you well know, what is one specific area or process where ESG considerations could be better embedded into routine decision making? So summarizing, where could ESG be better embedded in your context? Keep in mind, getting started involves securing leadership commitment, identifying what's material, setting measurable goals, embedding ESG in your culture and processes, engaging your value chain, and preparing to communicate transparently. Remember, it's a journey. Start where you are, perhaps begin by initiating conversations internally to raise awareness, or research what peers and industry leaders are already doing regarding their material issues, or identify one small achievable action aligned with an existing business priority. For those exploring organizational value, start by mapping ESG to the value drivers from Module 3. For those driven by personal interest, focus on understanding the materiality concept more deeply. So summarizing, getting started is about the path: leadership, materiality, goals, embed, value chain, report. Simply take action, start conversation, research peers, or identify one small step. Taking these practical steps positions your organizations for the future. But what exactly does that future look like? What are the key trends continuing to shape the ESG landscape? We'll explore the road ahead in our final module. This was Module 4, Getting Started. Next, Module 5.